Hello, this is Dr. Noelle Lucas here from Blue Oasis Pet Hospital, here to take some questions about dog deworming. I have an assistant that's going to ask me some of those questions.
Dr. Lucas, why is it important to deworm the dog?
So deworming means we're going to get rid of intestinal parasites. Pretty much all puppies come with some type of intestinal parasite. The most common would be roundworms and hookworms, so we're always going to be recommending puppy deworming. As dogs age, it really depends on their environment and how much risk they have for different types of intestinal parasites. The most common recommendation is that we're going to just prevent from having intestinal parasites with preventative. So we don't want your dog living with intestinal parasites because they're gross.
What are some of the parasites found in dogs and how are they treated?
So the most common would be roundworms, hookworms. We do see tapeworms. Occasionally we'll find whipworms. And then coccidia and giardia are the most common intestinal parasites we'll deal with. For roundworms, hookworms, I mean, we use some common dewormers, one of them is called Strongit or Pyrantel. As we get into some of the other types of parasites, then we're going to use some specific types of dewormers for the specific type of parasite that we find.
How do intestinal parasites impact the health and well-being of my dog?
So intestinal parasites are parasites. They are there to take nutrition from your dog. Different types of parasites will cause different types of problems. If your dog has an overwhelming hookworm infection, that's a type of parasite that sucks red blood cells or blood. So we can actually get hookworm-related anemias. Other types of parasites are going to create maybe leaky fluid out of the intestine, so we can potentially see some reduction in albumin. We can see just malnutrition related to intestinal parasites. Of course, diarrhea is a big problem with specifically like giardia or coccidia. Some of these parasites, especially in the young animal, can even be fatal.
Would I be able to see worms in my dog's stool?
Yeah, sometimes you can see worms in your dog's stool, which is gross. So in puppies, the most common would be roundworms or hookworms. When we give dewormer, because we're deworming them, the worms will detach and then pass out of the intestinal tract in the fecal material. If there's a lot of worms, you actually will see them pass and they will still be alive, but at least they're not in your dog anymore. There are parasites, the tapeworm specifically, that sometimes we as veterinarians don't always find very easily because they're passed on the outside of the fecal material. So you might see them as small, like little rice segments or little maggoty looking worms, either on the fecal material or maybe crawling around the bottom of your dog. So those parasites, if we do a fecal exam at our laboratory, we may not see tapeworms because those are the little segments that are being seen as the little rice things. So you're going to see those, and we want you to tell us if you see those because that means we need to deal with them.
Why is early detection and diagnosis so important?
So again, early detection, the less shedding into the environment these parasites can do, the less worm burden that your dog is going to have, certainly easier for us to treat, and then just easier to prevent. So the sooner we find them, the easier they are to treat and prevent.
How do I choose the right dewormer for my dog?
So the right dewormer is actually going to just depend on the type of parasite. We, as veterinarians, want you to come to us. We need to identify the type of parasite they have or are most at risk for, and then we're going to prescribe or recommend the specific dewormer and prevention that your dog needs. So if you have any questions more about your dog's parasites or dewormings, we invite you to reach out here to us at Blue Oasis Pet Hospital. We are here to help.